Hello, doctors. Off the doctor's show. I seen that you was helping a lady, Carol, whom is obese. But me, I am 300. I'm probably 20 pounds to 25 pounds short of 300 pounds. And the same for my mother, who isn't like me, who actually has a decent muscle mass with their weight mass. She is the size of Carol, but the thing is, we aren't addicted eaters, and we're still around 300 pounds. So what kind of tips would you have for us? I've even sent a full detailed thing to you guys through your show where you read a story, and I ain't heard nothing back yet, but I understand you guys got a lot of things to go through. But my mom, she's type 2 diabetes, I believe, type 1 or type 2, I can't remember which one. She has sleep apnea, and she's broken 2 electrical chairs, and that's wasting $600 to $800 on furniture for her. And then she's also, over the years, spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on workout equipment, spas, and anything that seems as a sure way of being able to lose weight. And the difference between my mother and me is she eats what the standards are, and she eats healthy food. She eats 10 times healthier than me. My mother's 51. My mother's 54 if I'm 23. She's 31 years older than me now. And she has the dream of riding roller coasters and stuff one day, and she's desperate enough to where she's looking up for surgeries in Mexico to go get gastronomy to have her stomach reduced half its size. And to me, yeah, that's a way to limit your eating, but it's not something that's going to help you lose weight or gain weight. Or, yeah, you might lose some weight from it, but I mean, to me, that isn't a healthy way of gathering nutrition for your body. That's just a quick fix and a way for someone to make money off of you, and that's it. Because I want to see my mother's dreams come true of riding a roller coaster, riding her first bike, and everything else before she passes, because she's been losing weight lately without getting up and doing much. And in the last couple years, she's been sitting in her chair and only getting up to use the bathroom, and sending me errands to the stores most of the time. Sometimes she'll get up and go, and sometimes she won't. But I don't know what to do between me and her anymore, because I know how I can lose weight, and she eats every day, a little bit every day, and she's 300 pounds and stuff. I'm in the same household, and I don't eat every day. I eat maybe a snack or 2 a day, and eat a nice meal every 3rd day, and I'm still around 300 pounds. And that's 2 different diets in the same house, still coming to the same rough conclusion and obesity stats as addictive eaters. So what are we doing that's making our body still be at these heavyweight levels? To me, I don't see my weight as an issue, but my mother does. She's broken both of her ankles in an accident before in her life, and she says, just like Carol, she can only stand up for a few minutes or so at a time, and she has to sit on a rolling chair and scoot around, and she has a bathroom pad on her chair because she's starting to lose control of being able to get it up in time to make it to the bathroom because of her weight and everything. And then also there's mental stress in the house to where anything she tries to do or has done, my stepdad has in some way or form had her change her mind about trying to get healthier or trying to do stuff around the house, because anytime she did something, he complained about the way she did it. So every once in a while, that don't make her turn into a recluse, but I mean, he did it almost every time she washed dishes or washed the clothes, and after a while she got tired of it and just started sitting down and watching TV after she had gotten carpal tunnel surgery and stuff from her job. And so now she's lost muscle mass and still kept the weight, and I hate talking about age, especially about my mother, but she's a little over half a century old now and obese with diabetes, sleep apnea, and then because of things that's happened and that I thought that I was doing the initiative and going and getting myself checked out at a hospital, and then a bunch of things and stuff hit the wall to where I don't even know if I'm even allowed to say it, because I mean, the things we did weren't technically good by law, and I hope you edit some parts of the videos out and stuff. I don't know, but I've sent you a message on your site connected to my Facebook account, and it has everything I said about how I stayed up for 5 days, and because I have insomnia bouts, not insomnia constantly, but every now and then I have insomnia. I stayed up for 5 days, got agitated by someone and didn't punch them their lights out, didn't hurt them or nothing like that. I just verbally went off, not cursing them either, using vulgar language. I just was like, you can't tell me this is the way things are going to go when you don't know, when you don't have a control over anyone. And I went to the hospital, walked there, knowing that they might have said something if I tried to drive my mom's car and stuff, and my friend was next to the hospital. So I get there, and then stuff hits the fan. They don't call the numbers I gave them. Hours go by, and me also never having the experience of doing things on my own or being to the doctors or anything on my own, I hit the fight, flight, or fright response. And since I couldn't fight them because hitting doctors and stuff would send me to jail, I had to opt for flight or flight, and I couldn't do the flight response because they took my clothes from me, and I didn't want to leave the hospital leaving my clothes and stuff behind. And thanks to all that BS, the doctors and stuff in all these different mental facilities, Middle Tennessee and stuff, all doctors of credentials, started off saying I'm manic, I'm paranoid, I'm bipolar, I'm depressed, and schizophrenic. I've been diagnosed for all these different things, yet none of the medicines for any of them worked on me and made my symptoms worse whenever I got out of the mental hospital. And then the last time I went in there, because of all the prior times of being there and the medicine didn't work, and the doctors trying to change everything I do in my life to where they tried to force me to adopt an eating habit of 3 times a day, and then stuff like that, to where my mom tried to do the same thing to me when I was a baby and couldn't get it done. As a toddler, couldn't get me to eat more. As a teenager, couldn't get me to eat more. And she's taken me to a pediatrician as a baby, and the pediatrician said I was healthy weight and stuff. And as long as I'm healthy weight, it's fine. So what I'm thinking is the way there's different forms of obesity. Carol's was done through dopamine receptors at the pleasure center. What I'm believing that's happened in us, or at least me, is that it's not that I didn't want to be skinny, because there was a point in time I was a slender body when I was younger, but I started gaining weight and keeping it because, to be honest, I rather know people like me for my thoughts rather than just my cute hair or a cute face or body. I rather people appreciate me for my thoughts more than my body or anything. I'm one of the few people that intentionally did it and at the same time didn't, because I never developed a bad eating habit to where I'm addicted to food, to where I have to have food every day. I have to have this certain type of food because it's the most delicious. No, I'm good with any food as long as it's food. But because I go 2-3 days without eating, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that my body has gotten stable in being able to stay in hunger mode to where it has a low metabolism, meaning that if I eat a lot of food, it's going to take a lot of time for the metabolism to burn it up, and I can run off a little bit of energy, and because I overate, all that extra energy I ate stores up in my body faster because I can run off a little bit of energy for during the week, and then I start storing up all this extra energy, and I've gotten all the way up back up to 270 to 280, 275 to 280, right around there, and I'm not too far from being 300 pounds, and I don't know how, but for my mom, she needs help. My mother is the one that needs help. The thing that I'm needing help with, to help between me and her so that we can have a symbiotic relationship again, is that I would like to find out if I'm really schizophrenic or any forms of these mental diseases that causes a person to start relying on certain medicines like dopamine blockers and risperidone that block dopamine receptors. And then I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys, I do smoke pot sometimes once in a while, but not every day anymore. I've gotten a girlfriend, but I don't know, because of my metabolism being slow and having more fat muscles and stuff, it takes a lot longer for things to leave my body than most people. And for my mom, I don't know what could help her. She's asked me to motivate her getting up to by yelling at her and stuff, and I tried, and then she yells at me saying I'm being too hurtful and stuff. And she loves dancing, she loves getting out and doing things, seeing places, but she don't like being in public's view, because she has the bad habit of double talking for people, where she says negative remarks about herself, saying when she's driving through Walmart on the buggies and she feels self-conscious about going around a quarter, she'll be like, huh, I bet she was thinking, oh, that fat heifer took up all that lane. My mom says self-destructing thoughts like that, but me, I've never said that. So I mean, and then my little brother, he's not obese yet, but he's getting a belly, and but he's still in his developmental ages, around his teens and stuff. So I mean, if me and my mom can start getting better eating habits and workout habits and stuff, to where we can be a better example for our little brother and for people around town and stuff. And not just that, you have Carol, that's an obese person close around 500 pounds. My mother's an obese person, the same things as Carol pretty much, saying, and she's still got that obese plump, and she's got skin where her skin's breaking apart, and she has red spider veins and stuff, and there's red spider veins on her face and stuff where her skin's bursting at the seams, is what it seems like. And I don't know what to do, because she eats healthier than me. I can't sit there and tell her her diet needs to get better. The only thing is she really needs to do is exercise, I think. And then every time she tries exercising, something gets in her way. And I have taken a psychology class, but it's only a basic psychology class. I don't have anything to where I know enough of information of how to help her or anything. The only thing I can use my basic psychology for is to use it on myself, no one else. Because if anything I do or say or make thoughts of, it only harms me, and that's it. And it can't harm anyone else, because I don't try to use any of that information, because it's kind of a catch-22 subject, because the same thing that works for one person doesn't work for another person, but they still get the same body types and stuff. And Carol, she's got the same body type, except she's got more density and maybe a little bit wider than my mom. But my mom's still the same as Carol, except she eats healthy and doesn't overeat. Sometimes eating actually makes my mom sick, and I don't know what to do about that. And for me, I know for myself how to start picking up my metabolism. All I got to do is start walking a few hours a day. But the problem with me and society and stuff is, because of the things I ingest and the things that's mainly my diet, yeah, I can exercise off of it and stuff, but it starts making me smell horrible, because most of my diet is actually soda and noodles. I'm just now getting into drinking water and stuff. But the last couple years I've only had soda and noodles, and I still had the same nutritional levels, and I don't ever eat bananas for potassium, and I barely ever have milk for calcium, except through cheese and stuff. So I get calcium through cheese, so that's one way. And I don't know, somehow I got good nutritional value, nice blood level, sugar levels and stuff. And then me and my mom, back in the day, when she didn't have type 2 diabetes and stuff, she was drinking Diet Cokes and Splendas and stuff to prevent diabetes from happening before it ever happened. But now, after a few years, and I warned her not to drink those drinks, because to me it doesn't make no sense for her body to be able to burn up a fake sugar that it's never been in nature until the last 20 years, so how would a body know how to break up this new element? Yeah, it's like a sugar, but I mean, the chemistry must be different, or else they wouldn't be calling it a fake sugar. And if this chemistry mimics a sugar, yeah, it'll go into the body like a sugar, and from what people understand how sugar dissolves and then spreads out into fat and stuff, yeah, it kind of does that, but wouldn't the fake sugars and stuff be so much harder and take longer to burn off? Because I don't understand how, because our body's able to burn regular sugar, and after decades, after trillions of years of knowing how to burn off, or millions of years of knowing how to burn off regular sugar, you make a new sugar and expect no side effects to happen? I'm not talking about you doctors, I'm just talking about the FDA and all that. But for me, the thing I want to do, I don't really want to be coddled. I just want to be put in a position to where I know what would make me lose weight the fastest. And if these things work for my obese body and stuff like that, I believe it might work for different people who also have obesity but don't have an eating disorder of anorexia or bulimic or overeating or undereating. Just they eat when they desire to, which to me, I only eat 4 to 7 pounds a week just like anyone else. Yet there's skinny people that sit there and scarf down food all day every day and don't exercise, and they just have a high metabolism. But I sit there and don't eat and eat only once every 2 days or so, but I'm eating less than these people eating every day, and I'm 3 times their weight, or nearly 3 times their weight half the time. So what is it that's really happening between me, my mom, and Carol, 3 different people that are considered weight levels to be obese? Maybe not body standards and stuff, because me and my mom, there's a big difference between me and my somewhat healthy body look type for my weight and hers. And I've thought about applying and asking towards Bigger Losers and stuff, but I don't think my mom would be able to handle that. She's just like Carol. Even 4 or 5 steps will make her sweat, and sometimes she has to sit down here and there, and then she's got to go to the bathroom to shower after using the bathroom sometimes. So I don't know what it is because you said, the doctors yourself have said, obesity is quite a conundrum. And I'm giving you 2 other people, one that's like Carol's example, except the completely opposite kind of eating pattern, but almost all the same symptoms and stuff. And my mom's got lymphedema, meaning that there's a good chance I got it too. And that might be a reason for her weight gain. And I don't think it explains mine, because I don't think mine has flared up like hers. But I don't know. I don't have the medical equipment or the know-how behind lymphedema. So I don't know how you guys go about finding these videos or anything. And I would show you my mother, but she's self-conscious, and if I'm putting this on YouTube hoping you guys find it, but you never do, I don't want her to sit there and act like she's feel like a laughing stock for things I did. And I don't know. I sent you guys something to your show to where you asked if we wanted to be on your show and stuff, if we had a good enough story. Well, I would think this is a way, because for me, I know how to lose weight quickly with my weight and my eating style and everything. I really do. I can shed probably 15 to 20 pounds in a month if I have the right friends and what I believe to be the right diet. Like, I can lose weight even with the diet I'm on right now, but I'm saying I could probably make myself lose even more weight at a quicker rate, even healthier, if I had what you guys said. And I can agree to some things that was said about food being addiction, but to be honest, everything in the world can be an addiction besides drug. Not just food, it can be games, it can be penny slots, anything in this world. Even the healthiest, even as a doctor, you should know almost any medicine is actually just a poison in a small dose. And anything is an addiction. There's people that are addicted to eating stuff off the floor or putting things in their mouth and not eat it. I mean, there's all different forms of addiction, but The one addiction I know I got is the addiction to having the 7 deadly sins, and that can be seen as a bad thing, but I sloth as I learn my knowledge. I am prideful in my knowledge. I have wrath when I know my knowledge is the same as other people's knowledge, yet is not being used at its value. Like when I was in one of these mental facilities, I was telling, yeah, big people have problems breathing, but most big people I know, I don't think can do this. And even think a little bit higher, if I'm not mistaken. Over my head. Just barely had to inch it down, but I mean, a lot of obese people can't do that, and then I have more flexible joints than an obese person, meaning I believe I do know what I'm talking about, where I keep myself trained and like a sloth, even though I'm sitting here not doing anything and do look big, but I do what I have to be able to shed when I have the opportunity to, shed any weight when I have to or can, because I believe the fastest way to lose weight would actually be water foods such as fruits, watermelons, and grapes and stuff like that. The reason why is because they're pure sugar, they're water, and because the body's made up 70% of water and stuff, it would increase your body's water levels, making your body cool off faster. And then also because electric currents that are being sent from your brain and stuff are passing through your membranes and stuff. And I'm guessing the water will help, the water from the fruits, and it's not just regular water, depending on the fruit. If it's a lemon, it's acidic water. If it's a strawberry, or wait, are all fruits acidic? I wonder. I don't know that. But if they are, that means it'll also start kicking up the metabolism in your stomach, making it easier to trigger on and off, or start building up faster with all the acids being added to it. And then also the exercising and stuff while doing this, and not just the average exercise, making a set of reps of 10 pounds and stuff like that. I would like a workout room, and if you guys can send me and my mom to a facility or something. I mean, because she says none of these doctors and I agree, they don't even have the courtesy to diagnose me for 2-3 weeks because of their budgets and economy issues. So within 2 or 3 days they can figure out what medicines to give me that should not affect me and stuff, when the last time they gave me so much every time I go there, even though I'm telling them what, they ask me questions and I tell them the direct answer that I know, and they're like, no, and no, you still got to be on medicines. And I mean, I don't know how to get out of it. It's a self-destructing pattern to where I went and tried to better myself, but then I got frightened and stuff because they moved me from a calm, soothing room to another room because of a catch-22 question. Have you ever had a suicidal thought? And then, or thought about suicide? Well, I wish I thought more about it when I answered. I would have said no, but no, I was honest because I seen a show about suicide and stuff when I was only 7 years old, Stephen Urkel, Family Matters and stuff, and all those other different shows, all of them talked about if I didn't exist, and then on the news, people, kids and stuff who committed murder or committed suicide and stuff over petty things. So, I mean, how am I not to think about suicide when it's in our news, in our movies, in our shows? I mean, if someone answers that as just a general way of saying, yeah, I've thought about it because it's in my house almost every other day because I watch NCIS every day. So, I mean, suicide's going to be somewhere in your head, because when you see it, can you not see something and not think about it? Because, I mean, you're sitting there saying, man, that sucks, they committed suicide. I wonder if they was framed because of the CSI show. So, I mean, people think about suicide, and then when doctors ask, have you thought about suicide? And you ask it, or you answer it in a general way, thinking that they're smart enough to tell that you're not suicidal. But no, the second someone answers that, saying yes, they're like, okay. And some of them will be like, what kind of thoughts have you had about suicide and stuff? And then you'll be like, well, for example, if you die, nothing bad happens. I mean, what else can there be about suicide? That's a catch-22. If you're going to ask someone, the second you say suicide and ask someone, have you thought about suicide? I mean, that split second they thought about it, and what if they're an OCD person and like, I cannot lie because I have heard it, and they know I have heard it, and I've got to say yes because I thought about suicide. It went through my brain. The thought was there. Some people are that OCD about thinking and don't feel like elaborating about how much they think about those little details. And doctors sit there and base utter 100% belief that they are right when they don't know what's going on in someone's head and could be screwing them up for life. So I've had to sit here and try to figure out a way to coherently use all the information that I've learned throughout the years to present my case as to why I should be privileged when I have a medical choice to choose whether a medicine is good for me or not, to actually be able to say, yes, I would like that medicine because I think it would help with me based on these facts that I know of myself. Instead of being like, someone asking me, what are the facts that you know about yourself? Well, this, and that. And then they're like, okay. Instead of asking you what do you think might help, they're like, because I know you don't have any medical degree. I know you don't know anything about chemistry. I know you... They're in their head, they're already saying that you don't know. 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 And the best example I have is all these mental facilities that put people in classes that talk about synapses and stuff. That isn't helping anyone learn anything. It's just a 15-20 minute class where a student that sits there and just got herself the position to come and teach for the day to show her best. She sits there and repeats kindergarten information. A synapse is this, and a synapse, there is two synapses here, and it sends information to between synapses right here. And does anyone have any idea about what these synapses can be used for? No, that isn't how it's taught in anatomy. That isn't how it's taught in psychology. It's taught, here's what happens. When a person has a thought, a cognitive thought, there's an electrical impulse starting at the root of the dula oblongata, or the cortex. Not cerebral cortex, that's the cerebral cortex. But there's something right here that in the books it'll be like electrical impulses starts from the back of the brain, works its way traveling through the correct synapses paths, going to the designated zone, picking up messages on the way and taking them on to their designated zone in the brain to allow a fluid thought or motion to be produced from electrical impulses in the brain. So They sit there and say that, but then when they're trying to talk to full-grown adults in mental facilities, they dumb it down to kindergarten stuff, and then all these people that are sitting there, adults, being like, okay, I was here yesterday, heard the same thing, all you're doing is drawing it with a different marker, or I heard the same thing. No, that is not going to help anyone learn anything. That is not how the brain learns. Once it knows an information, you need to give it more information and newer information with different scenarios of it involved in it. But no, they constantly repeat the same scenarios, keeping people in these chairs, not letting people eat the way they want, not letting people bathe the way they want, not letting people poop the way they want. They literally don't let you do anything that the second you go out of there, you're going to start going back to your old habits, because nothing in there was fun. They didn't try to help anyone's habits. They didn't try to figure out what people were thinking about. They just asked you a couple questions, left you alone, and watched how you interacted with one another, or if you slept in a corner and stuff. They didn't come in and have classes with you to be able to see how you interact with 30 people and stuff like that. No, they designated you to different classes and said if nothing happens and you guys got to take your own notes on, and then no, this is not, it's like a kindergarten class for adults, and no adult wants to do that. And there's no freedom to leave the building or anything like that. And I can understand certain parts of the building to where nobody can go outside. But then even when you go outside, all you're doing is going into a confined brick wall. And it's just like, where there is nothing there that promotes thinking. All it is, anytime, I've been there a few times, every time I go there, they take more and more out of it, making it duller and duller and duller. And everyone in there just sits around half the time getting ornery, thinking like, when's the next day going to come by? When's the next day going to go by? And then, thanks to them believing that they understood medicine better than me and better than, I don't know. Because, I mean, I understand how two medicines combine and make the same equivalent of 3 pills being in your body instead of just 2. I understand that, and I learned that in school before I went to Middle Tennessee and other places like this. But no, they're sitting there saying I double talk in my head, which I don't know how they have any information about how my thoughts in my head work. And then they're sitting there saying, I believe in the devil and stuff like that walking up to me. No, they misread that information. It was between me and my roommate. They believed in the devil, and I believed that they believed it was true, and I just talked him out with them because I believe in God. And he didn't say he didn't believe in God. He just said devil was his friend that was an alright guy and put people through tests. Which, to be honest, that's kind of what the devil does, because he can't kill anyone without God's permission, so all he does is put people to the test to see if they're worth it going to heaven, and if they fail, he gets someone to go to hell with them. But, I mean, I don't know. The best way I could say is, I don't know, because I'm scared to go to psychologists or anything and talk anywhere in a closed room with a single person or anything. I know if I talk with multiple people at one time, it makes it easier for things and stuff to be understood, because then if one person understands my point of view, but 2 other people don't, and then you guys talk it out with each other, maybe my point of view can get moved across somehow. But no, they put me one-on-one with people that have a mental block to not listen to patients because they don't think the patients are trying to do anything to better themselves, always wanting to be self-destructive and stuff like that. I mean, if I was self-destructive, I think I may look it, but I would think by now something would have happened, and every time I went back I would have thought new scars would appear on me and stuff. And not to be mean, I'm not one of the idiots who believe going across the road is the way to do anything. I've learned how veins and stuff work. I know, but if I told that to a doctor, they'd be like, I don't know if I can let you leave now. What? It didn't. The doctor, I knew that information a month before, 3-4 years ago, but if I say it now to the doctor and stuff, based on his own notes and stuff, for some awful reason, they mean more, they have more influence on my life than me, myself, and what I want to do with my life. Because, I mean, this schizophrenia is going to follow me around and stuff, and I've told people I was schizophrenic, and they thought I was, had multiple personalities, and that's not what it is. And then my mom is thinking there's a neurological problem in my head, because when I got out of there, they traumatized me when I had strangers sitting there pulling on my arms, smiling at me, saying everything's gonna be fine, and then pricking me with a needle, cuffing me to a bed, all smiling at me, patting my head, soothing me. Yeah, this is going to freak someone out if they don't want to be there. No, that is not how you should treat people. And if someone comes to a place of their own free will, a doctor has the right to say, I do not believe this person is mentally capable of leaving, and thus putting them in a mental hospital, and that is utterly not right. We have freedom of speech and freedom of belief, but our freedom of speech and our freedom of belief can lead us into being locked up in mental facilities? No, there's something wrong with how these things are working, and I mean, it don't make sense. It's a catch-22. You can talk about what you want, when you want, how you want, as long as it's not to a doctor or a psychiatrist that's been trained in our government to see when you say these certain phrases and you say these certain triggers and stuff. What about the commanders at arms that have to sit there and say, so how many people do you think we're going to have to kill today? Or they're allowed to talk about taking people's lives on a daily basis, and we can't even talk about, hey, if I could, I think I'd take a shot at what's his name, James Holmes. And then they're like, oh, you think you have the authority and the justice to take a life? Well, look at our democracy. We say we're a God-fearing nation and that none shall kill. What is happening in our prisons and stuff? It's literally hypocrisy. It's not democracy. It's saying one thing and then doing another. It's hypocrisy. The only thing is a democracy and hypocrisy are the same thing. I don't understand the difference. The only thing is that hypocrisy is someone who does something wrong and does the opposite of what's supposed to be said, does the opposite of what they say, but gets in trouble for it. But democracy is where people do the opposite of what they say and don't get in trouble for it, if they have the right positions and stuff like that. But if they don't, they get in trouble for it. So it depends on who you are in the democracy, on how much trouble or not you will get into. So, I mean, this doesn't make any sense to me. And the thing I was going to point out about diets is, I believe people need to stop trying to do this 2,000 calorie diet a day and just eat a little bit every day, because when they get hungry, they'll start eating more. And then their bodies will start getting used to eating more on some days and less on some days and more on other days. And the reason this should be the eating style is because, I mean, if you start exercising every day and stuff, you'll start eating every day. But if you don't exercise every day, then you'll slow down your eating and then eat every other day or something. And your body will be accustomed to adapting every time you pick up energy or drop energy or anything. Your body will adapt to daily situations instead of being stuck, being used to being fed 3 times a day, every day, all the time, for years on end, and then you get hungry when you miss 2 or 3 meals and you're like, oh, I'm not feeling good, I need to get something in my stomach. Yeah, that, to me, that is not right, because a person shouldn't be, you're eating every day and then you miss 1 or 2 meals in one day and you're hungry. Starvation takes weeks and months, starvation takes weeks to get to, and you're hungry and starving in less than a few hours. No, you don't even understand what hunger is. Hunger is when you need to eat something, and desiring to eat is having the feeling that you're hungry, and that's the one thing I think a lot of people can't get their minds around, that they don't understand what real hunger is nowadays. No, people are their senses are being dulled. I don't know how to explain it besides the medicines. Once you make a realistic conversation, you start being told that you got double talking patterns, you got this and this and this, but guess what? Because I kept saying to the doctors, I still don't see what's wrong with me. And they're like, well, it's got to be this now, because I can see why you're right, how it's not the manic thing, or how it's not this. And then, well, the only thing I can say is because you double talk so much is that you must be schizophrenic. Or else how would you be able to double talk if you don't double talk in your head? Thanks to me double talking out loud or all the time around when I'm alone, I got double talking skills, but I never talk in my head, so I don't have any double talking skills in my head. So I mean, there we go. So I don't hear anything, and I don't know where they're getting that information from. They're pulling information out their ass from hearsay, and in the judicial system, hearsay is not allowed to be used as fact. Why is it being used as fact in deciding what medicines people take? I mean, that don't make sense.